Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Star Wars channel. I'm so grateful you've made your way here tonight. Maybe it's been a long day in your own corner of the galaxy, or maybe you're simply searching for a little peace among the stars. Somewhere quiet, somewhere calm, somewhere the Force can settle gently across your thoughts. So for now, let your breathing soften. Let your shoulders loosen. Your mind drift like a ship gliding through hyperspace, and your heart grow still. Because tonight, we'll be journeying through the luminous path of one of the galaxy's most beloved wanderers, Ahsoka Tano. From her first steps as a bright and eager Padawan to the mysteries of the world between worlds and beyond the farthest starlit horizons, this is a story of courage shaped through compassion, wisdom earned through trial, and strength found not in titles, but in the quiet glow of hope. Over the next 100 sleepy facts, we'll travel through her memories, the warmth of her bond with Anakin, the trials of the Clone Wars, the heartbreak of her departure, and the soft unfolding of her destiny beyond the Jedi. There's nothing you need to do. No battles to fight, no journeys to plan. Just rest, listen, and let the calm hum of the Force carry you gently onward. Now close your eyes, drift with me into the starlight, and may the Force be with you, always. Fact 1. The Child of Shili. On the vibrant world of Shili, where tall grasses sway like waves beneath twin moons, a young Ahsoka Tano first opened her eyes to the galaxy. The Togruta people lived in harmony with the wilds, listening to the quiet rhythms of nature as if it were an extension of the Force itself. In those early years, Ahsoka learned the gentle language of instinct, the way the wind shifted before a storm, the soft pulse of life hidden beneath the soil. Though she was small, there was already a light inside her, warm and alert, as though the Force was humming softly in her heartbeat. And in that peaceful beginning, a greater journey waited just beyond the horizon. Fact 2. The Force. Call softly. Long before she knew the word Jedi, the Force whispered to Ahsoka in ways only a child could understand. She sensed when animals were uneasy, when a path through the forest was safe, when someone nearby carried sadness in their chest. To her, these were not powers, only feelings drifting gently through her mind. Elders in her village noticed how calm she became in moments of danger, how her small hands reached out with quiet certainty. There was a wisdom in her stillness, an early trust in something larger than herself. Like a soft breeze guiding a wandering leaf, the Force nudged her toward a destiny she could not yet see. And from that silent guidance, another moment of fate slowly approached. Fact 3. A village of color and song. Ahsoka's home on Shili was a tapestry of warmth, bright pigments painted on clay homes, the rhythmic calls of her people echoing across open plains, and the deep, steady heartbeat of communal life. Togruta culture celebrated connection, believing that no one thrived alone, and even the smallest child was embraced by many guardians. Ahsoka grew up surrounded by music, laughter, and the protective harmony of her tribe, each day teaching her the value of unity. These lessons would stay with her forever, shaping the compassion she carried into every future battle. In the quiet glow of her childhood nights, she listened to stories of spirit and courage. And in those soft stories, the Force prepared her for what would come next. Fact 4. Plo Koon's gentle discovery. It was Master Plo Koon who first felt the subtle glow of Ahsoka's presence, like a warm ember flickering through the Force. When he arrived on Shili during a routine visit, he sensed something unusual, a quiet yet unmistakable clarity radiating from a small child in the village. Ahsoka approached him without fear, guided by an instinct older than memory. Her calmness touched him. Her trust felt like a soft breeze settling over the moment. He recognized in her the same potential he had once seen in younglings throughout the galaxy, a destiny waiting to bloom. With her family's blessing, he carried her gently toward a new life among the Jedi. And with that single meeting, her path toward the stars quietly began. Fact 5. A new path unfolds. Ahsoka's arrival at the Jedi Temple was like stepping into a sanctuary of swirling light. High towers gleamed beneath Coruscant's endless sky, and young voices echoed through ancient corridors. Though she was small and far from home, the temple welcomed her with warmth, a place where countless beings gathered to learn, meditate, and become guardians of peace. Ahsoka felt a strange mixture of awe and comfort, as if she had stepped into a dream shaped just for her. Every corner hummed with the energy of the Force, surrounding her like a gentle embrace. She sensed possibility everywhere she turned, and beneath that sense of wonder, the first threads of her Jedi destiny quietly wove themselves together. Fact 6. Learning among the younglings. In her earliest days of training, Ahsoka found companionship among other younglings, a diverse mosaic of species and voices, all striving to grow. Their lessons were simple at first: balance, focus, breathing, listening to the world within and around them. Ahsoka approached each exercise with gentle curiosity, often surprising her teachers with natural grace and determination. The temple became her home, its quiet gardens and candlelit halls shaping her heart as much as her skill. She learned patience, teamwork, and the comfort of shared purpose. Surrounded by friends and mentors, she began to understand that the Force was not simply power, it was connection. And with each lesson absorbed, another quiet step toward her future was taken. Fact 7. Growing with grace. As Ahsoka moved through her earliest years in the temple, her teachers noticed the gentle poise that seemed to bloom naturally within her. She was spirited, yes, curious, energetic, eager to explore. But beneath that spark lived a surprising depth of empathy. When another youngling stumbled in training, Ahsoka was always the first to offer a hand. When someone felt discouraged, she sensed it like a change in the air and brought a quiet word of comfort. Her heart grew in harmony with her skills, shaping her into a student not defined by ambition, but by kindness. And in that grace, the Force found fertile ground for the strength she would one day need. Fact 8. Training in quiet halls. There were mornings when the Jedi Temple felt like a world carved from stillness itself. Soft light filtering through vast windows, the whisper of robes brushing polished floors. In those serene hours, Ahsoka practiced the simplest forms: gentle stretches, steady breaths, movements meant to align body and spirit. She learned to let go of distraction, to hear the subtle hum beneath the silence. These moments, tucked between lessons and chores, shaped her more deeply than she knew. They were the foundation of a lifetime of balance, teaching her to steady her thoughts even when storms raged around her. And from those quiet halls, a subtle strength began to rise within her. Fact 9. The echo of Togruta instincts. Though trained as a Jedi, Ahsoka never lost the natural gifts of her Togruta heritage. Her mantrals, the tall hollow horns rising from her head, allowed her to sense movement and presence in ways few others could. In the training rooms and gardens, She felt the shifts in air before anyone else moved, sensing shapes, intentions, and rhythms beyond sight. These instincts made her agile, responsive, and unusually aware of her surroundings. But they also kept her connected to the essence of her people, a life lived with the land, with the herd, with the unity of many acting as one. And with every instinctive step she took, destiny drew a little closer. Fact 10. The Whisper of Destiny. Even as a youngling, Ahsoka felt moments she couldn't explain. Small glimpses of intuition, subtle shivers of knowing, like distant echoes of a life not yet lived. Sometimes she sensed that her path would be different from those around her, shaped by choices far heavier than she could imagine. The Jedi spoke often of destiny, but to Ahsoka it felt less like a prophecy and more like a gentle tug, a quiet reminder that the Force had plans for her. She didn't yet understand the shape of her future, only that something waited just beyond her horizon. And in that whisper of destiny, the seeds of her greatest journey were quietly planted. Fact 11. Assigned in a time of war. Ahsoka's life changed forever when she was chosen as a Padawan, not during an age of peace, but at the height of the Clone Wars. The galaxy trembled under conflict, and the Jedi found themselves stretched thin. Guardians turned generals. Amid this turmoil, Ahsoka was assigned to Anakin Skywalker, a decision that would shape both their fates. She felt nervous stepping onto a battlefield for the first time, yet also strangely ready, as though every lesson had been preparing her for this. War was loud, chaotic, and overwhelming. But Ahsoka carried with her the stillness of temple halls and the warmth of Shili's open skies. And with her first steps into battle, the bond that would define her youth began to form. Fact 12. Sky Guy and Snips. Their partnership began with sparks, Ahsoka's quick tongue meeting Anakin's stubborn confidence. She called him Sky Guy. He called her Snips. And in those playful nicknames lay the foundation of a bond deeper than either expected. Anakin was bold, reckless, fiercely protective. Ahsoka was spirited, insightful, and always ready to challenge him. Their banter brought light into the dark corners of war, softening the edges of hardship. Though she was young, Ahsoka quickly proved her worth, moving beside her master with sharp instincts and growing courage. Their dynamic became legendary among the clones, a dance of trust and challenge. And from that lively partnership, a connection was forged that would echo through her entire life. Fact 13. Learning through fire. Ahsoka's earliest missions beside Anakin were trials by flame, carved from the urgency of a galaxy at war. Starfighters roared overhead, blaster fire lit the skies, and the ground trembled beneath marching battalions. Yet in that chaos, Ahsoka learned faster than anyone expected. She studied Anakin's movements, his instincts, his strategies, absorbing each lesson not with fear, but with quiet determination. Every close escape, every hard-won victory shaped her spirit like a lightsaber, smoothing rough metal into something refined. Even in danger, she held tightly to her compassion, letting it guide her decisions. And through those fiery beginnings, the young Padawan's courage began to rise like dawn after a storm. Fact 14. Courage beyond years. Though still just a teenager, Ahsoka carried a bravery far older than her years. She stepped into every battle with clear eyes and steady breath, relying on the calm she had cultivated in the temple's quiet gardens. Her size made enemies underestimate her, yet time and again she disarmed them, not only with skill, but with heart. She fought to protect others, not to prove herself. Even seasoned clones found strength in her presence, admiring the way she stayed focused when fear tried to creep in. Courage, to Ahsoka, wasn't loud. It was a soft, steady flame she refused to let the war extinguish. And as that flame glowed brighter, it illuminated the leader she was becoming. Fact 15. The art of adaptation. One of Ahsoka's greatest gifts was the ease with which she adapted to whatever challenge lay before her. Whether she was navigating dense city streets, piloting a starfighter through impossible odds, or negotiating with beings from unfamiliar worlds, she adjusted like water, finding its path around stone. Anakin's improvisational style sharpened her instincts, teaching her to think quickly, move fluidly, and trust her own judgment. She learned that battlefields were unpredictable, shifting like tides in an unseen sea. And the key to survival was flexibility, not rigidity. These lessons shaped her into a Jedi who moved with both precision and intuition. And with each new adaptation, the Force gently guided her toward the person she was meant to be. Fact 16. A Jedi in motion. From the moment she first ignited her lightsabers, Ahsoka moved with a fluid grace that seemed to echo the natural rhythms of her Togruta instincts. Her fighting style grew quickly, shifting from cautious steps to elegant arcs and spirals, as though she were dancing through the currents of the Force. Anakin encouraged her to experiment, to trust her agility, to let instinct take form through movement. Over time, she transformed her training into something uniquely her own: swift, adaptive, expressive. Her blades shimmered like twin streams of silver-green light, weaving patterns that felt almost poetic amidst the turmoil of war. And in every graceful strike, the Force whispered that she was becoming something extraordinary. Fact 17. Lessons in attachment training under Anakin brought many teachings, some spoken and some hidden between the lines of his actions. Ahsoka watched how fiercely he cared for others, how deeply he felt every loss. She noticed the way he held on to those he loved, and she learned the beauty and danger of such attachment. Through him, she understood that compassion was a strength, but dependency could lead even the brightest hearts astray. These lessons settled softly in her mind, like drifting leaves over calm water. She carried them into her own relationships, choosing care without possession, loyalty without fear. And in these quiet reflections, she began to shape the path that would one day set her apart from the Jedi. Fact 18. Finding her voice. At first, Ahsoka struggled to be heard among seasoned generals and experienced warriors. But as missions unfolded, she discovered a growing confidence within herself. Her insights became sharper, her instincts more trusted, and she learned to speak with the calm certainty of one who truly listened to the Force. She questioned strategies when needed, stood her ground even against authority, and offered wisdom beyond her years. Her voice became a beacon not of defiance, but of clarity, a reminder that courage could be gentle and still unwavering. Bit by bit, she found herself evolving from a student who followed orders to a young leader shaping her own decisions. And with each steady word, the galaxy began to hear her emerging strength. Fact 19. The responsibility of command. Though young, Ahsoka was entrusted with leadership earlier than most Padawans. Standing before platoons of clone troopers, she felt the weight of their trust settle softly across her shoulders. These were soldiers bred for war, yet they looked to her with respect, listening to her strategies and following her guidance with unwavering loyalty. At first, She doubted herself, wondering if she could truly lead lives shaped for battle. But as missions unfolded, she discovered that responsibility was not a burden, but an agreement of hearts. She would guide them, and they would stand by her. And with every decision she made, her sense of purpose deepened like calm water, gathering strength beneath the surface. Fact 20. A Padawan's heart. Despite the chaos of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka never let violence harden her spirit. She approached every encounter, ally or enemy, with empathy, seeking understanding before conflict. Her compassion became a quiet lantern for those around her, softening the shadows of fear and uncertainty. Even when tension ran high, she found ways to uplift her fellow soldiers, offering humor, kindness, or a steadying presence. She believed deeply that protecting life meant honoring the humanity in every being, even amidst war. This gentle philosophy distinguished her among the Jedi, making her not just a warrior, but a guardian of hope. And through that open heart, she carried a light that the war could never extinguish. Fact 21. Brothers in armor. Ahsoka's bond with the clone troopers grew into something warm and unbreakable, a chosen family forged in the fire of shared survival. She saw them not as soldiers, but as individuals with unique voices, quirks, and dreams. They, in turn, saw her not merely as a commander, but as a sister, a protector, someone who genuinely cared for their well-being. Around campfires beneath alien skies, they shared stories, jokes, and quiet moments of reflection. These connections made each mission feel personal, each loss deeply felt. Her loyalty to them shaped many of her choices, grounding her in the truth that even in war, connection was sacred. And from those bonds of trust, the foundation of her future resilience quietly took shape. Fact 22. Captain Rex's steady presence. Among all the clone troopers, Captain Rex became Ahsoka's closest and most trusted companion. His leadership was calm, thoughtful, and deeply loyal, a quiet strength that balanced her emerging confidence. In moments of tension, Rex's steady voice grounded her, reminding her that she was never alone in the vastness of war. Their bond was built not on rank, but on mutual respect, each seeing the other as more than their assigned role. When plans faltered or fear crept close, Rex's unwavering trust in Ahsoka became a beacon, helping her find clarity even in the darkest hours. And with every shared mission, their friendship grew into something that would echo across the rest of her life. Fact 23. Moments of light in war. Even in the midst of battlefields and starships, Ahsoka and the clones carved out small pockets of joy, tiny suns in an otherwise shadowed sky. Whether it was banter after a mission, quiet meals taken side by side, or simple jokes shared beneath humming lights, these moments became essential threads in the tapestry of their lives. They reminded one another that they were more than soldiers, more than tools of the Republic. Ahsoka cherished these gentle pauses, knowing they carried a warmth the war could not erase. Laughter became a kind of armor, shielding their spirits from despair. And in those flickers of light, she learned that hope thrives even in the harshest places. Fact 24. Trust forged in battle. Trust, Ahsoka discovered, was not given lightly. It was built in the quiet seconds between blaster fire, in the shared glances that said, "I've got you," in the instinctive movements that aligned without thought. With every mission, the clones learned to follow her lead, and Ahsoka learned to rely on their unwavering commitment. They adapted to one another like flowing parts of a single, living force, each action shaped by faith in the next. This unity became their greatest strength, guiding them through impossible odds and countless dangers. Ahsoka grew to understand that trust was a living bond, nourished by courage and honesty. And from this bond, she found the resilience that would sustain her long after the war faded. Fact 25. Learning from masters. Throughout her time as a Padawan, Ahsoka found herself guided not only by Anakin, but by the quiet wisdom of other Jedi masters. Obi-Wan Kenobi offered her patience and perspective, teaching her that diplomacy could be as powerful as a lightsaber. Master Yoda shared gentle insights, reminding her to breathe deeply, to listen to the Force as one listens to a distant stream. Even brief conversations with Jedi, like Plo Koon or Luminara Unduli, left soft impressions on her heart. Each master added a new shade to her understanding of the galaxy: discipline, compassion, restraint, clarity. And through these layered teachings, she grew into a Jedi shaped by many voices and many forms of light. Fact 26. Ventress in the shadows. Ahsoka's encounters with Asajj. Ventress were charged with danger, but also with an unexpected sense of recognition. Two young women shaped by war, forced into roles larger than themselves. Ventress fought with fierce intensity, her presence sharp as a blade in the dark, yet Ahsoka sensed the sadness beneath her strength. Their battles were clashes of wit and will, each measuring the other with growing respect. Over time, Ahsoka learned that even an enemy could carry pain worth understanding, that the line between darkness and light was often blurred by circumstance. Ventress became a mirror of what Ahsoka might have become under different stars. And in that shadowed reflection, Ahsoka's empathy deepened, guiding her toward a more compassionate path. Fact 27. Crossing paths with Padme Amidala entered Ahsoka's life as a figure of elegance and courage, a leader who fought with words as deftly as any Jedi wielded a saber. Ahsoka admired her deeply, finding comfort in Padme's calm conviction and her unwavering belief in peace. Through her, Ahsoka glimpsed a broader world beyond the battlefield: diplomacy, justice, the delicate dance of politics. Padme treated her not as a child, but as a trusted ally, and their friendship became a beacon of warmth in troubled times. With every mission they shared, Ahsoka learned that strength could be gentle, and that true bravery sometimes lay in choosing dialogue over conflict. And from Padme's example, Ahsoka carried forward a quieter kind of courage. Fact 28. Secrets shared in quiet corners. During long campaigns and political missions, Ahsoka sometimes found herself in quiet conversations with those burdened by fear, uncertainty, or doubt. She had a gift for sensing when someone carried hidden worries, and she often offered a safe place for their thoughts to rest. In small corners of starships or the hushed alcoves of the Senate, she listened with patience far beyond her years. Sometimes the secrets were heavy, sometimes they were simple. But Ahsoka held each one gently, never judging, always offering warmth. These moments taught her that healing often began with being heard. And with every whispered worry she eased, her compassion grew into a steady light amid the shifting darkness of war. Fact 29. Choosing mercy. In the heat of conflict, Ahsoka frequently faced choices that demanded not skill, but heart. She often chose mercy, even toward enemies shaped by fear, deception, or desperation. She believed that life held value beyond sides and symbols, and that kindness could ripple outward like soft waves across still water. Whether sparing a defeated foe or aiding a wounded stranger, her decisions carried a quiet bravery. Mercy was not weakness, it was clarity. The understanding that compassion could end cycles violence could not. These choices distinguished her from many who fought beside her, and they stayed with her long after the battles faded. And through each act of mercy, she strengthened the part of herself destined to walk a different path. Fact 30. The weight of command. As the Clone Wars stretched on, Ahsoka felt the heaviness of responsibility settle more deeply across her shoulders. She had guided troops through victories and losses alike, and each battle left subtle marks upon her spirit. The weight was not just strategic, it was emotional, born from caring deeply about the lives entrusted to her. Still, she carried that weight with quiet resilience, drawing strength from her bonds with the clones and her growing connection to the Force. Leadership taught her to be firm, yet gentle, decisive, yet empathetic, strong, yet compassionate. These lessons shaped her into someone capable of making choices others could not. And with each burden carried, she moved one step closer to the turning point that would change her life forever. Fact 31. The Siege of Ryloth. During the liberation of Ryloth, Ahsoka faced one of her earliest and most humbling challenges. Tasked with leading a squadron of starfighters, she carried the weight of both responsibility and expectation. Yet the battle unfolded faster and harsher than she anticipated, teaching her that even the best intentions can falter under fire. Loss and doubt settled heavily on her shoulders, but instead of retreating inward, Ahsoka allowed the lesson to shape her with quiet maturity. She learned that leadership required accountability, courage, and forgiveness, especially toward oneself. And from the ashes of that difficult day, a steadier, wiser Ahsoka rose to meet the galaxy with newfound resolve. Fact 32. Guarding the younglings. Ahsoka often found herself watching over younglings at the temple, guiding them through early lessons in balance, focus, and trust. Though she was still young herself, she carried a warmth and patience that the children responded to instantly. She helped them navigate fears, encouraged their curiosities, and celebrated their small victories. In these moments, she discovered the quiet joy of teaching, the way a gentle word could coax confidence forward, how a steady presence could ease a trembling hand. Protecting them deepened her understanding of what it meant to nurture life, even in a galaxy shadowed by war. And in those soft smiles and hopeful eyes, she glimpsed the innocence she fought so hard to preserve. Fact 33. Navigating morality in chaos. The Clone Wars forced Ahsoka to confront difficult questions long before she expected to. Battles were rarely simple, and right and wrong did not always reveal themselves clearly. She learned to look beyond orders, to feel the truth in each moment through the Force, and to trust her own moral compass even when it diverged from the path laid before her. These reflections shaped her deeply, teaching her to navigate the fog of war with compassion as her guide. Ahsoka realized that true wisdom came from understanding, not obedience. And with every moral crossroads she faced, she stepped closer to the independence that would one day redefine her entire life. Fact 34. The Citadel Escape. The mission to the Citadel pushed Ahsoka into one of the most dangerous trials of her young life. The fortress was a labyrinth of traps and cold metal corridors, designed to break even the strongest Jedi. Yet Ahsoka pressed forward with quiet determination, guided by the steady presence of her comrades. She learned the sharp taste of fear, the sting of loss, and the weight of sacrifice as lives were claimed by the mission's unforgiving path. But she also discovered her own resilience, a growing spark of strength that refused to fade even when hope flickered low. And from the darkness of that escape, she carried a deeper understanding of courage into the battles yet to come. Fact 35. Mandalore's changing winds. Ahsoka's connection to Mandalore unfolded slowly, shaped through alliances, conflicts, and shifting political tides. She witnessed the planet's beauty, its domed cities, its proud people, its winds whispering across ancient plains, alongside the turbulence of its civil struggles. Though she was still learning who she was in the galaxy, Mandalore revealed to her the complexities of leadership, legacy, and divided loyalties. She saw how honor could shape a culture and how power could fracture it just as quickly. These lessons seeped quietly into her heart, preparing her for future ties to the world and its warriors. And with every encounter on Mandalore, she felt destiny weaving new threads into her unfolding journey. Fact 36. The challenge of patience. For someone as energetic and spirited as Ahsoka, patience was a lesson learned slowly, like a river carving its path through stone. Missions often required stillness, waiting in the shadows, listening to the Force, trusting that answers would come in their own time. At first, this stillness felt uncomfortable, but gradually, she discovered that patience carried its own quiet power. It revealed truths that haste would overlook, and it gave her the clarity needed to see beyond the surface of any situation. With each meditative breath, she found balance between action and restraint, between impulse and insight. And in mastering patience, she unlocked a deeper harmony with herself and the Force. Fact 37. An apprentice becoming a leader. As seasons of battle passed, Ahsoka felt herself shifting from student to leader in subtle, steady ways. Her once hesitant voice grew clear, her steps more deliberate, her understanding of the Force deepening like ripples expanding across a calm lake. Jedi Masters began to trust her with missions once reserved for knights, and clone commanders awaited her decisions with quiet confidence. Though she still learned from Anakin, Ahsoka no longer simply followed his shadow. She stood beside it, her own light rising. Leadership didn't come from authority alone, she discovered, but from compassion and courage woven together. And as she stepped forward with growing certainty, the galaxy began to recognize the strength blooming within her. Fact 38. The lessons of Mortis. On Mortis, a realm untouched by ordinary space and time, Ahsoka confronted mysteries deeper than any battlefield. There, the Force felt alive, a living tapestry of light, darkness, and balance. Her encounters with the daughter, the son, and the father revealed truths she could scarcely understand. Yet they left imprints on her soul like faint stars etched into twilight. She saw visions of her future, shadows of her fears, and glimmers of the person she might one day become. Mortis taught her that the Force was not just power, but harmony, and that destiny carried both danger and grace. And when she left that strange world, she carried its echoes with her, guiding her path in unseen ways. Fact 39. Shadows of the dark side. As the war deepened, Ahsoka began to sense subtle fractures in the peace the Jedi struggled to uphold. She saw the toll the conflict took on Anakin, the grief hidden behind his determined gaze, the storm of emotions he tried so hard to contain. These shadows troubled her, like distant thunder rumbling on the horizon. Though she trusted him with her life, she felt currents of conflict swirling around him, warnings whispered through the Force. Ahsoka learned that darkness did not always arrive with dramatic flair. Sometimes it crept quietly, shaping hearts with slow, unseen pressure. And with each passing day, she sensed that her master's destiny was moving toward a crossroads she could not yet prevent. Fact 40. Hope in the midst of war. Even as the Clone Wars grew darker, Ahsoka carried hope like a small lantern cupped gently between her hands. She saw suffering on countless worlds, saw the endless march of battle droids, and the toll on innocent lives. Yet she refused to let despair take root. Her belief in compassion, in peace, in the quiet strength of the Force remained unshaken. She encouraged others to hold on to light wherever they found it. In friendships, in laughter, in the simple act of helping someone stand. Hope, she learned, was not loud. It was a steady glow that could survive even the fiercest storms. And as she nurtured that glow, the Force whispered that greater trials were approaching. Fact 41. Whispers in the walls. The bombing of the Jedi Temple struck Ahsoka like a sudden, chilling wind. The halls she once walked with warmth and trust now felt heavy with suspicion and unease. Shadows lingered where none had been before, and whispers drifted through corridors like cold smoke. Though Ahsoka sought the truth with loyal resolve, she felt the weight of doubt press softly against her back. Doubt from those she had fought beside, trained with, and admired. The safety of the temple seemed to crumble beneath her feet as the investigation unfolded. And in that shifting silence, the first fragile cracks began to form between Ahsoka and the order she had called home. Fact 42. Hunted by her own. When evidence falsely pointed toward Ahsoka as the bomber, the galaxy she had served so faithfully tilted sharply beneath her. Overnight, she became a fugitive, pursued not by enemies, but by Jedi and clones who once trusted her without hesitation. Running through shadowed underlevels, she felt the sting of fear and betrayal blend into a hollow ache in her chest. Yet even in desperation, she held on to her integrity, seeking answers instead of surrendering to anger. Her steps were guided by the quiet belief that truth would surface, even through injustice. And as she fled through the depths of Coruscant, destiny nudged her toward the turning point of her life's path. Fact 43. A trial without justice. Ahsoka's trial was a moment suspended between disbelief and heartbreak. She stood before the Jedi Council, the very mentors who had guided her since childhood, and felt their doubt weighing heavily upon her. Their questions were sharp, their trust fragile, their decision to expel her echoing through her spirit like a fading bell. Though she longed for someone to believe her innocence, she found only cold formality where she once found warmth. In that hollow chamber, surrounded by eyes that no longer saw her clearly, Ahsoka realized how quickly faith could fracture. And as judgment closed around her, she felt a quiet resolve gathering within, urging her to keep searching for the truth the Council could not see. Fact 44. Ventress's unlikely help. In her darkest hour, help came from an unexpected shadow. Asajj. Ventress, a former enemy shaped by betrayal and solitude, crossed Ahsoka's path with a surprising spark of empathy. Though their histories were tangled with conflict, Ventress recognized the injustice Ahsoka was facing, for she too had been cast out and blamed. Together, they navigated Coruscant's underworld, moving through dim passages and forgotten streets where whispers carried more truth than the Senate above. In those tense moments, Ahsoka saw a different side of Ventress. Not a villain, but a soul scarred by loss, capable of compassion when few others offered it. And through that unlikely alliance, a small light of hope began to flicker once more. Fact 45. The truth revealed. The truth finally surfaced when Barriss Offee confessed, revealing herself as the true culprit behind the temple bombing. The revelation washed over Ahsoka like a bittersweet wave, relief intertwined with sorrow. She had been right to trust her instincts, yet the cost of reaching this moment had carved new depths within her spirit. As the council acknowledged their error, she felt the weight of what had been broken: trust, belonging, a bond she thought unshakable. The galaxy seemed quieter in that moment, as though pausing to reflect on the price of misplaced judgment. And standing at the edge of vindication, Ahsoka sensed that the path ahead would no longer lead where she once dreamed it would. Fact 46. A choice of the heart. When the Jedi Council invited Ahsoka to return, their words felt hollow, like echoes in an empty chamber. Though they acknowledged their mistake, the wound they left had changed her. She stood before them, no longer the eager Padawan who once sought their approval, but someone who had seen the fragile limits of their vision. Her heart ached, yet within that ache grew a clarity she could not ignore. Ahsoka chose a path beyond the Council's walls, guided not by rank, but by conscience. Walking away was gentle, painful, and profoundly brave, a soft severing that defined her future. And with each step into the open air, she embraced a destiny shaped by her own wisdom. Fact 47. Anakin's quiet hurt. Anakin watched Ahsoka leave with a grief he struggled to hide. She had been more than a student to him. She was a partner, a grounding presence, a reminder of the person he had once hoped to be. Her departure carved a silent hollow in his heart, deepening wounds he had long tried to bury. He reached out to her, desperate for her to stay, but Ahsoka could not return to a place where trust had fractured so sharply. The two stood at a crossroads neither could mend, bound by affection, yet separated by the choices of others. And as she walked away, Anakin felt the galaxy tilt just a little further toward the shadows he would one day embrace. Fact 48. Walking into an uncertain future. Leaving the temple meant stepping into a galaxy vast and unfamiliar, with no rank to guide her, no master to follow, no clear path laid before her. Ahsoka felt a mix of freedom and fear, a soft trembling in her spirit, paired with the exhilarating breath of possibility. She wandered through starports and quiet settlements, learning from farmers, merchants, refugees, and wanderers. Each encounter reminded her that the Force lived in all beings, not only in the halls of the Jedi. Though uncertainty lingered at her back, she walked forward with open eyes and a steady heart. And with every new sunrise she witnessed, the Force whispered that her journey had only just begun. Fact 49. A light. Untethered. Without the title of Jedi, Ahsoka felt strangely weightless, as if the galaxy had opened into a vast horizon without walls or boundaries. Yet in that openness, she sensed a freedom she had never known. No longer bound by the expectations of the Order, she could listen to the Force in new ways, following its murmurs rather than strict doctrine. This lightness allowed her to grow quietly, like a seed carried by a gentle wind, finding new soil in unexpected places. Though she still felt the sting of her departure, she discovered that her identity was not a robe or a rank, but a kindness that could not be taken from her. And with this untethered glow, she stepped forward into the wider currents of destiny. Fact 50. The Force still walks with her. Even in solitude, Ahsoka felt the Force brushing softly against her steps, a familiar companion guiding her through crowded markets, silent forests, and forgotten ruins. She meditated beneath new skies, letting the living energy of each world flow through her like a quiet stream. The Force had never belonged solely to the Jedi, and now Ahsoka discovered its gentler tones, its subtle harmonies woven into everyday life. She sensed hope in strangers, sadness in refugees, and resilience in those who survived with nothing but will. These wanderings shaped her understanding of the galaxy more deeply than any lesson in the temple. And in the stillness between journeys, she realized she had not lost the Force. She had found it anew. Fact 51. Building a new life. As the years passed, Ahsoka began to craft a life outside the shadows of her past. She moved carefully through worlds shaken by war, offering quiet help where she could, repairing droids, guiding the lost, protecting the vulnerable. She asked for nothing in return, letting her actions ripple softly through the lives she touched. Her presence became a gentle anomaly, a traveler with sharp instincts, calm wisdom, and a mysterious strength that seemed to hum beneath her breath. In simple work and honest connections, she found a peace the Jedi had rarely afforded her. And in this humble rebuilding, the seeds of the rebellion she would one day nurture began to stir. Fact 52. The name Fulcrum emerges. In the early stirrings of resistance against the Empire, Ahsoka stepped quietly into a new role, one shrouded in secrecy and illuminated only by purpose. She became Fulcrum, a code name whispered through secure channels and hidden transmissions. Her voice, calm and steady, guided fledgling rebel cells with the wisdom of someone who had walked both war and peace. As Fulcrum, she operated in the shadows, connecting scattered sparks of hope across the galaxy. No one knew her face, but many trusted her counsel, sensing the quiet conviction behind every word. And as the rebellion's threads slowly wove together, her unseen hand became a gentle force guiding them toward unity. Fact 53. A web of allies. Through covert messages and cautious meetings, Ahsoka stitched together a fragile but growing network of allies. Some were former soldiers seeking redemption, others were senators mourning the collapse of the Republic, and many were everyday beings who simply refused to let tyranny darken their worlds. Ahsoka listened to their fears, nurtured their courage, and helped them believe in the possibility of change. She never positioned herself as a leader. Instead, she became a bridge, connecting hopeful hearts across vast distances. Through her, scattered voices began to speak as one, forming the earliest strands of organized rebellion. And in this quiet weaving of alliances, she laid foundations that would one day echo through history. Fact 54. Reuniting with early friends. As her work deepened, Ahsoka crossed paths with familiar faces from her past, allies she had once fought beside in the Clone Wars. Some recognized her immediately. Others sensed her presence before they saw her, feeling the calm steadiness she carried like a soft glow. These reunions were bittersweet, filled with stories of loss, resilience, and the quiet endurance required to survive under Imperial rule. Though time had changed them all, the bonds forged through shared struggle still pulsed warmly between them. Each encounter reminded Ahsoka that even in a fractured galaxy, connection could survive the harshest divides. And in those gentle reconnections, her purpose grew clearer than ever before. Fact 55. A new purpose. As the rebellion slowly took shape, Ahsoka found herself stepping into a role she had never sought, but naturally fulfilled. She became a quiet guide, someone who saw the bigger picture when others were lost in the fog of fear and uncertainty. Her calm voice helped reconcile disputes, her insights shaped missions, and her steady presence reminded others that even in a galaxy under Imperial rule, compassion could still survive. Although she no longer carried the title of Jedi, Ahsoka embodied the heart of one, protecting the innocent, seeking balance, and listening to the Force with patient clarity. And in this newfound purpose, she discovered a peace that felt deeper than anything she had known before. Fact 56. The Spark of Lothal. Ahsoka's path eventually led her to Lothal, a world whose gentle fields and glowing skies hid the stirrings of quiet rebellion. There, she sensed a unique resonance, a young presence flickering brightly through the Force. This presence was Ezra Bridger, a boy whose raw potential reminded her of both herself and another apprentice long ago. Ahsoka watched from afar at first, observing the Ghost Crew as they grew, struggled, and fought against Imperial oppression. Their unity, their spirit, and their willingness to challenge injustice stirred something warm in her heart. And as Ahsoka stepped into their lives, she felt destiny guide her toward new threads woven into the fabric of her journey. Fact 57. Teacher. Once more, returning to the role of mentor felt as natural as breathing. With the Ghost Crew, and especially with Ezra, Ahsoka rediscovered the gentle joy of guiding a young soul through the mysteries of the Force. Her advice came not from doctrine, but from lived experience, colored by trials, heartbreak, and wisdom carved through years of wandering. She taught Ezra to trust his instincts, to move with empathy, and to understand that true strength flowed from compassion. Though she did not claim the title of master, she embodied its spirit with calm grace. And in each lesson she offered, Ahsoka felt her own path settling into balance once more. Fact 58. The Echo of the Clone Wars. Traveling with the Ghost Crew stirred memories Ahsoka had long held gently at arm's length. The laughter of rebels around a holotable, the hum of starship engines, the rhythm of planning missions, all reminded her of days spent beside Anakin, Rex, and the clones she had loved like family. These echoes did not bring sorrow alone. They carried warmth, too, like the last light of dusk resting on quiet fields. Ahsoka realized that even though the galaxy had changed, the spirit of resistance, the willingness to stand for others, had survived the fall of the Republic. And in those soft reflections, she felt her past and present weave together in peaceful harmony. Fact 59. Facing truths long buried. As Ahsoka's journey deepened, so did the weight of truths she had long avoided. Whispers of a dark enforcer serving the Empire reached her ears, and she sensed, like a shiver through the Force, that this figure was tied to a pain she had never fully healed. She did not speak the name aloud, not even to herself, for some part of her still hoped it was not true. Yet the Force often guides us toward the truths we fear most, urging us to face the shadows we fled. For Ahsoka, this meant acknowledging that Anakin's path had twisted into darkness beyond her sight. And with each step toward that realization, she felt the tides of destiny turning quietly beneath her feet. Fact 60. A Jedi, yet not a Jedi. By the time she fully joined the rebellion's efforts, Ahsoka had become something rare in the galaxy. A guardian without title, a Force wielder unbound by the rules of an order that no longer existed. She did not claim the identity of Jedi, yet she carried its values with a clarity untouched by dogma. She moved through the world with humility, wisdom, and a gentle strength shaped not in classrooms, but in lived experience. Rebels looked to her for guidance, sensing in her a calm that felt ancient and reassuring. Ahsoka walked between paths, not rejecting her past, yet not confined by it. And from that quiet middle ground, she prepared to face the storm that awaited her. Fact 61. A family in the stars. The Ghost crew welcomed Ahsoka not as a commander, but as family. A constellation of hearts bound not by rank, but by shared purpose. Hera's steady leadership, Kanan's quiet strength, Sabine's fiery creativity, Ezra's curious spirit, and even Chopper's grumbling loyalty formed a circle of belonging Ahsoka hadn't known since the Clone Wars. Traveling with them felt like drifting among stars she thought she'd lost forever. Their warmth softened old wounds, and their belief in each other reminded her that hope was a living force, constantly renewing itself. With them, Ahsoka rediscovered laughter, trust, and the healing that comes from being seen. And within this newfound family, she felt her path align gently with destiny once more. Fact 62. Ezra's curious heart. Ezra Bridger reminded Ahsoka of something she cherished deeply: the wonder of a young soul discovering the Force for the first time. His questions came like bright sparks, full of awe and eagerness, and Ahsoka answered each one with the patience of someone who understood the fragility of early lessons. She saw in him both courage and vulnerability, traits she recognized from her own childhood and from the days when Anakin guided her through unfamiliar paths. Ezra's open heart rekindled her belief that youth could reshape the galaxy, one choice at a time. She nurtured his curiosity gently, helping him listen to the Force with trust instead of fear. And in guiding him, Ahsoka felt echoes of her own early journey awakening softly within her. Fact 63. Kanan's quiet strength. Kanan. Jarrus carried the weight of a survivor, a former Padawan who had escaped the Purge and rebuilt his life from scattered pieces. Ahsoka sensed the depth of his scars, but also the tremendous strength he forged from them. He approached the Force with humility, moving through its currents like someone grateful for each gentle whisper it offered. Their conversations were calm and reflective, two souls shaped by loss, yet committed to protecting the innocent. Kanan's devotion to his newfound family inspired Ahsoka, reminding her that even in the aftermath of tragedy, light could return with patient care. And in that quiet bond, she found both kinship and a renewed respect for the enduring resilience of the Jedi spirit. Fact 64. Sabine's fire and art. Sabine Wren's presence added a vibrant flame to Ahsoka's path, a blend of warrior resolve and artistic brilliance that colored every moment she touched. Ahsoka admired Sabine's creativity, the way she used paint and symbol to tell stories the galaxy needed to remember. Sabine fought with passion, yet her art revealed a thoughtful soul beneath the armor. In her bold colors and daring strokes, Ahsoka sensed a spirit shaped by pain, hope, and relentless determination. Their respect grew quietly, forged not only through shared missions, but through the understanding that both of them carried histories full of unspoken wounds. And in Sabine's fiery resilience, Ahsoka saw the strength of someone destined to shape her own legacy. Fact 65. Hera's steadfast leadership. Hera Syndulla became one of the most grounding figures in Ahsoka's journey, a leader whose calm authority felt like a warm star glowing in deep space. Hera guided her crew with equal parts strategy and heart, making decisions not from pride, but from compassion for those under her care. Ahsoka recognized in Hera the rare gift of true leadership, the ability to inspire without demanding, to steady others with a quiet glance, to hold hope even when the galaxy trembled. Their conversations were gentle, full of mutual trust and shared dreams of a freer future. Hera's unwavering purpose reminded Ahsoka that the fight for peace could still be noble. And in Hera's steadfast spirit, she found a kindred guardian of the light. Fact 66. Chopper's sparks of humor. Even in tense moments, the Ghost's cantankerous astromech droid, Chopper, managed to spark unexpected laughter. His whirs, growls, and unapologetic antics created pockets of levity that Ahsoka cherished more than she admitted. Though Chopper's grumbling nature seemed chaotic, Ahsoka sensed the loyalty humming beneath every sarcastic beep. He reminded her of the droids she had known during the Clone Wars, companions who offered comfort through their steady presence and quirky personalities. In Chopper's unpredictable behavior, she found a small sanctuary from the galaxy's heavy demands, and every time his metallic muttering drifted through the ship's corridors, she felt a little of the war's old weight lift from her shoulders. Fact 67. The battle over Malachor. Malachor was a world wrapped in silence, a landscape of ash and stone and ancient ruin where the air itself felt heavy with forgotten suffering. When Ahsoka journeyed there with Kanan and Ezra, the ground trembled with echoes of battles long extinguished. She sensed danger woven into every crevice, yet she pressed forward, knowing that truth often waited in the most shadowed places. The dark temple beneath the surface drew her deeper into memories she had spent years learning to live beside. Malachor was a crossroads of past and present, a place where the Force felt raw and unresolved. And as Ahsoka stepped into its depths, destiny stirred like a long dormant ember waiting to ignite. Fact 68. Echoes of the Sith. Within the temple's vast chambers, Ahsoka felt the cold presence of ancient Sith power, a sharp contrast to the gentle hum of the light she carried. Statues loomed like silent guardians of darkness, their carved expressions frozen in malevolence. The air crackled with distant whispers, remnants of rituals and conflicts lost to time. Ahsoka moved with quiet caution, knowing that places steeped in such energy could lure even the strongest minds astray. She shielded Ezra and Kanan not only from physical danger, but from the unseen weight of the past pressing against their spirits. And with each step she took, she walked a delicate line between strength and memory, danger and clarity. Fact 69. The Temple of Shadows. Deep within the Sith temple, Ahsoka discovered not only the threat it posed, but the knowledge it concealed. She sensed layers of history wrapped around its obsidian walls, warnings, lessons, and truths about the ancient struggle between light and dark. Though the temple pulsed with ominous power, Ahsoka's calm presence softened the fear that clawed at its edges. She understood that even in shadows, wisdom could be found, so long as one approached with a steady heart. The temple revealed to her the fragility of balance and the cost of unrest within the Force. And as she stood at its heart, she felt the past leaning gently toward the future, preparing her for the confrontation she had long feared. Fact 70. Scars that teach. The events on Malachor left marks upon Ahsoka that no blade could carve. Quiet, invisible scars shaped from truth, loss, and revelation. She carried the weight of what she had witnessed, the darkness she had touched, and the memories stirred by the ancient temple's oppressive halls. Yet these scars did not weaken her. They refined her, like stone smoothed by centuries of wind. Ahsoka learned that wounds could become teachers, guiding her toward deeper compassion and greater clarity. Pain, she realized, was not the end of a journey, but a turning point toward wisdom. And as she emerged from Malakor's shadows, she carried those lessons forward, like lanterns lighting the path ahead. Fact 71. Footsteps toward fate. The closer Ahsoka moved toward her fateful encounter, the more the Force seemed to shift around her, subtle currents brushing her steps, urging her gently toward what she could no longer avoid. She sensed a presence on the horizon, familiar yet changed, like a memory wrapped in storm clouds. Each moment on Malachor felt guided by something older than destiny, drawing her deeper into the heart of a truth she had been running from. Though fear flickered at the edges of her thoughts, Ahsoka walked forward with calm acceptance. Some paths must be walked, even when they lead into darkness. And with each quiet footstep, she approached the moment that would echo through her soul. Fact 72. Masks of the Past. When the towering form of Darth Vader emerged from the shadows, Ahsoka felt the galaxy pause. His armor reflected the cold light of the temple, an obsidian mask hiding the face she once knew better than her own. Yet beneath the mechanical breath and the chilling presence, she sensed a thread of something achingly familiar, a spark of the boy she had trained beside, laughed with, trusted. Standing before him was like facing a ghost made of metal and sorrow. She understood then that the past could be twisted, reshaped, and buried, but never fully erased. And as she ignited her white blades, she knew a truth long avoided had come to meet her at last. Fact 73. I won't leave you, not this time. As the battle began, the air between Ahsoka and Vader thrummed with the weight of years unspoken. She stood her ground, holding both lightsabers steady, her voice gentle yet unwavering as she told him she would not abandon him again. Those words carried all the tenderness of their past and all the pain of their present, a promise born from love, loyalty, and sorrow. Ahsoka reached for the part of Anakin she still believed existed, hoping to touch the spark that once guided her through war and wonder. But the darkness answered her instead, and in that fragile moment, the divide between who he was and who he had become widened into a silent chasm. Fact 74. Blades and Ruins. The duel that followed echoed through the temple like a storm contained within stone walls. Ahsoka moved with fluid precision, her white blades cutting arcs of luminous calm against Vader's heavy strikes. Each clash sent sparks cascading into the dim shadows, illuminating fragments of their shared memories. She fought not to win, but to reach him, to remind the fractured soul inside the armor of the light he once carried. Yet Vader's fury was relentless, shaped by years of loss, betrayal, and darkness. Their battle became a painful dance of past and present colliding, and as ruins trembled around them, Ahsoka understood that some truths could only be faced, not changed. Fact 75. The fading echo of Anakin. For a brief, heart-stilling moment, Ahsoka landed a strike that damaged Vader's helmet, revealing a glimpse beneath the mask. One eye, human, wounded, familiar, stared back at her. His voice fractured between mechanical distortion and the soft timbre she remembered, creating a haunting blend of past and present. That flicker of Anakin's essence pierced her like a whispered memory returning from the void. She reached for it with all the tenderness in her soul. But the darkness surged again, swallowing the glimmer with suffocating finality. Ahsoka realized then that Anakin was neither fully gone nor fully reachable, and like a fading echo, the moment drifted into silence as the battle raged on. Fact 76. A choice beneath the crumbling temple. As the Sith temple began to collapse around them, Ahsoka faced a final, painful choice. She could flee with Ezra and Kanan, escaping into the light above, or she could stay behind and confront the shadow of the past that had finally taken form before her. The Force swirled with urgency, dust drifting like pale snow through the dim air as ancient stone groaned under the weight of centuries. Ahsoka looked once more at Vader, at the broken remnants of the man she'd loved like a brother, and she chose to stand her ground. And in the trembling dark, she accepted that some destinies were not meant to be avoided, but met with steady courage. Fact 77. Lost, but not gone. When the temple collapsed in a thunderous rush of stone and shadow, many believed Ahsoka had perished. The rebels mourned her quietly, carrying her memory as a soft ache that lingered through their missions and victories. But the Force does not release those who still have a path to walk. Deep within the ruins, Ahsoka's light endured, dimmed, hidden, but unbroken. Though she vanished from the galaxy's sight, her presence remained like a whisper in distant winds, a subtle warmth felt by those who had once stood beside her. And in that quiet absence, destiny prepared to reveal a doorway few could imagine. Fact 78. The world between worlds. Beyond time and beyond space lies a realm woven of stars, voices, and infinite pathways, the world between worlds. When Ahsoka stepped into this mysterious place, she felt the Force in its purest form, vast, serene, and echoing with memories and possibilities. Here, moments of past and future drifted like constellations, each path shimmering with choices yet unmade. She walked softly along its swirling bridges of light, sensing truths far greater than any temple or holocron could hold. The world between worlds was not an escape, but an awakening, a glimpse into the living tapestry of the Force itself. And as Ahsoka breathed in its stillness, a new chapter of her destiny shimmered quietly into existence. Fact 79. A hand, reaching through time. Within the vast currents of the world, between worlds, Ahsoka felt a gentle disturbance, a ripple of intention brushing against her spirit. Then, from a portal shimmering like liquid starlight, Ezra Bridger reached through and pulled her from the moment of her death. Time bent softly around them, folding like silk in the wind as their destinies intertwined. Ahsoka stared at Ezra with a mix of disbelief and gratitude, understanding that he had saved her not by altering the past, but by opening a doorway into possibility. The Force had woven their paths together in a way neither could have foreseen. And in that miraculous rescue, Ahsoka sensed her story stretching into places still waiting to be discovered. Fact 80. Lessons in the space between. As they navigated the world between worlds, Ahsoka gently guided Ezra away from the temptation to change what could not be undone. Echoes of familiar voices drifted around them, whispers from lost friends, fallen masters, moments frozen in the flow of time. Ezra longed to reach into those fragments and heal old wounds, but Ahsoka, with steady compassion, taught him the delicate truth that the Force was balance, not control. She showed him that grief and love were both threads of destiny, and that altering one could unravel many. Her words settled in the air like warm embers, calming his trembling hope. And with that wisdom shared, the realm around them grew quiet once more. Fact 81. A doorway. Back to life. When the time came for them to part, Ahsoka watched Ezra step into his own path, knowing the galaxy still needed him in ways he had yet to understand. She, too, felt a calling, a pull toward a portal that shimmered with the familiar colors of her own timeline. Stepping through, she found herself beneath the crumbling remains of Malakor's temple, alive yet changed, the world around her steeped in silence. Though the air was heavy with ancient shadows, Ahsoka felt no fear. The world between worlds had renewed her purpose, refining her spirit like a blade tempered in light. And as she walked away from the ruins, she knew her journey was far from over. Fact 82. Wandering the quiet paths. After Malachor, Ahsoka walked a quieter road. One not marked by battles or banners, but by reflection. She traveled through forgotten ruins where moss grew thick on ancient stone, through peaceful villages where children chased sunlight across dusty streets, and across lonely plains where only the wind remembered the old wars. Each world welcomed her like a soft exhale, offering space for her spirit to settle. She listened to the whispers of the Force in rustling leaves, running rivers, and distant thunder, learning to trust its guidance more deeply than ever before. These wanderings became a gentle healing, a chance to breathe without the weight of destiny pressing on her shoulders. And with each quiet step, she felt the galaxy slowly mending around her. Fact 83. Ahsoka the White. In time, Ahsoka emerged changed, cloaked in pale robes, carrying a calm presence that felt almost luminous. She walked with the serenity of someone who had faced both darkness and truth, and had chosen peace over despair. This new chapter of her identity, often called Ahsoka the White, reflected not rank, but renewal. Her white lightsabers hummed with a purity that matched her spirit, free from the burdens of the past, yet shaped by every lesson it had taught her. To those who encountered her, she seemed like a guardian of quiet wisdom, a wanderer carrying a piece of the Force wherever she went. And in this form, her path stretched forward like a bright thread woven through twilight. Fact 84. A promise to find Ezra. When the Empire fell and the galaxy once again shifted toward hope, Ahsoka returned to Lothal, drawn by a promise lingering in her heart like a soft echo. Ezra had vanished in the final battle against Thrawn, leaving behind only a message filled with courage and trust. Ahsoka felt the weight of his absence, the unresolved bond between mentor and student. She knew the Force was calling her to continue what began in the world between worlds, to find him wherever destiny had carried him. With Sabine by her side, she prepared for a journey across unknown stars, guided by faith and determination. And as she set foot on this new path, the Force whispered that their stories were still deeply intertwined. Fact 85. A journey beyond. Known stars, searching for Ezra, required Ahsoka to travel far beyond the familiar lanes of hyperspace. She and Sabine set out into regions where star maps dissolved into guesswork and constellations faded into uncharted void. In these distant reaches, the galaxy felt vast and ancient, as though untouched by the conflicts she had known. Ahsoka welcomed the stillness, letting each new horizon stretch gently across her thoughts. She studied the faint traces of Ezra's presence, following the subtle currents of the Force through swirling nebulas and quiet moons. Each world held a clue, a whisper, a gentle pull guiding her deeper into mystery. And with every jump into hyperspace, she felt destiny drawing her ever closer to answers waiting in the dark. Fact 86. Sabine's unshakable loyalty. Traveling beside Sabine reminded Ahsoka of the strength found in companionship. Sabine carried her own grief and determination, her heart fiercely committed to finding Ezra no matter how long the search required. Ahsoka watched her grow, from a warrior shaped by Mandalorian tradition into someone capable of deep reflection and boundless resolve. Their bond strengthened on lonely nights beneath star-filled skies, where unspoken hopes drifted between them like soft starlight. Ahsoka guided Sabine with gentle wisdom, while Sabine offered courage in moments when the path seemed unclear. Together, they became two lights navigating an unfamiliar horizon. And in Sabine's steadfast loyalty, Ahsoka found comfort and renewed purpose. Fact 87. Listening to the Force in new ways. Far from the noise of rebellion and war, Ahsoka began to perceive the Force with heightened clarity. In the silence of deep space, it felt like a vast ocean, calm, ancient, and endlessly patient. She meditated often, opening her senses to the quiet ripples that drifted through the void. Sometimes she felt Ezra's presence, like a distant star flickering at the edge of awareness. Other times, she sensed only possibilities, flowing like gentle tides around unseen futures. These moments taught her that the Force was not only guidance in battle, but a companion in solitude, a teacher in the quiet, a friend in the dark. And through this deeper listening, Ahsoka felt her steps aligning with a purpose greater than she had ever imagined. Fact 88. The Threads of Destiny. As Ahsoka and Sabine ventured deeper into the unknown, the Force wove subtle threads around their journey, invisible strands connecting past choices to future revelations. Ahsoka could feel these threads like soft vibrations beneath her feet, guiding her toward encounters not yet formed. Some paths shimmered with promise, others with warning, yet all felt purposeful, as though the galaxy itself were gently nudging her onward. She understood that destiny was not a single road, but a tapestry of moments shaped by courage, compassion, and choice. The search for Ezra was part of something larger, something written in the quiet fabric of the Force. And with every star they passed, those delicate threads grew stronger, pulling her toward the truth. Fact 89. Whispers of Peridea. Rumors carried through outposts and forgotten starports spoke of ancient galaxies beyond the known frontier, places spoken of only in myths. One such name drifted repeatedly into Ahsoka's hearing: Peridea, a world whispered in old Jedi lore and etched faintly in folktales carried by distant travelers. The very sound of it stirred something deep in her spirit, like a chord resonating across centuries. Ahsoka sensed that this place, long lost to record, might hold answers about Ezra's disappearance, and perhaps about the mysterious being who had vanished with him, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Following these whispers required trust in the Force, in her companions, and in the destiny unfolding before her. And as Peridea's name lingered, it beckoned like a distant star just beginning to glow. Fact 90. Echoes of ancient knowledge. As they continued their search, Ahsoka found fragments of old stories, murals, carvings, and forgotten manuscripts hinting at civilizations older than the Jedi Order. These ancient cultures spoke of pathways between galaxies, star whales that swam through hyperspace, and mystical forces that shaped existence long before modern empires rose. Ahsoka read their symbols with reverence, feeling the presence of countless generations whose wisdom still hummed through stone and starlight. These echoes reminded her that the Force was far more expansive than any doctrine, more mysterious than any archive. Understanding this allowed her to move forward with humility, trusting that some truths reveal themselves only when one is ready to receive them. And in these ancient whispers, she felt the universe opening gently before her. Fact 91. The Call of the Purgil. As Ahsoka meditated beneath the quiet hush of starlight, she occasionally felt a distant tremor in the Force, a deep, resonant pulse that reminded her of ancient stories. These murmurs belonged to the Purgil, majestic star whales who traversed hyperspace with grace older than recorded history. To most, they were myth or danger. To Ahsoka, they felt like guardians of forgotten pathways. Their presence stirred memories of Ezra, who had once called upon them with courage few could understand. Every time she sensed their echo, it was as though the galaxy offered her a gentle reassurance that the boy she sought might still be near these wandering titans of the stars. And in that quiet reassurance, her hope brightened like a lantern in drifting fog. Fact 92. A teacher of many paths. By this stage in her journey, Ahsoka had become something rare, not just a warrior or a wanderer, but a teacher shaped by every trial the Force had placed upon her. She understood that growth took many forms. The discipline she learned as a Padawan, the compassion she embraced as a leader, the patience she earned through exile, and the courage forged through loss. Those who crossed her path often carried away pieces of her quiet wisdom, even when she offered no formal lessons. Her presence alone was grounding, like a soft breeze guiding a drifting leaf back toward balance. And in guiding others, without demanding recognition, Ahsoka embodied the purest essence of the light. Fact 93. Letting the Force lead. As the search reached even deeper into uncharted space, Ahsoka surrendered more fully to the rhythms of the Force. She no longer questioned why certain doors opened or why certain signs appeared. She simply listened, trusting that each gentle nudge carried meaning. Sometimes this guidance came as a fleeting instinct, other times as a vision flickering like candlelight at the edge of her awareness. Ahsoka had learned that the Force did not shout. It whispered, softly urging those who were willing to be still. By letting go of control, she found clarity, and by trusting the unseen, she uncovered the next steps in her long journey. And with her heart open to the Force's quiet voice, she continued onward into the deep unknown. Fact 94. Trusting Sabine's heart. As their journey deepened, Ahsoka found herself relying more and more on Sabine's instincts. Though their temperaments differed, Sabine's fire to Ahsoka's calm, the Mandalorian's heartbeat with fierce loyalty and unwavering conviction. Ahsoka began to see that Sabine's path was not merely parallel to her own, but intertwined with it. Through long nights, under unfamiliar stars, they shared quiet conversations about fear, loss, and hope. Ahsoka recognized that Sabine's strength did not come from armor or weapons, but from her devotion to the people she loved. Trusting Sabine meant trusting a future shaped by courage rather than certainty. And with each step, Ahsoka felt their bond growing like a steady flame in the dark. Fact 95. Ahsoka's inner balance. Ahsoka had faced the extremes of the Force, the bright warmth of the light and the cold pull of the dark, yet she walked firmly in neither shadow nor radiance. Instead, she found a delicate harmony within herself, a quiet balance shaped by experience rather than ideology. She no longer sought to define what she was. She simply existed in gentle alignment with the Force's flow. Her calm presence softened conflict. Her clarity guided others, and her compassion anchored her spirit through even the most turbulent storms. Ahsoka understood that peace did not mean the absence of struggle, but the ability to remain centered amid its shifting tides. And in this inner stillness, she discovered a freedom no order or title could offer. Fact 96. Preparing for what awaits. With each passing day, Ahsoka sensed the future moving toward her like a quiet tide. She felt Ezra's distant presence, faint but unwavering, and she knew the moment of reunion drew closer with every step she took. The galaxy around her seemed to inhale, as if gathering itself for the next chapter of her journey. Ahsoka prepared not through drills or strategy, but through reflection, allowing her spirit to soften, her mind to clear, and her heart to open fully to whatever she would find. The Force guided her gently, like a hand resting with reassurance upon her shoulder. And in that peaceful readiness, Ahsoka embraced the truth that her story was far from finished. Fact 97. The hum of a new beginning. As Ahsoka and Sabine neared the final steps of their long journey, Ahsoka felt a subtle hum moving through the Force, a vibration soft as a heartbeat beneath starlit silence. It reminded her of the moment before dawn, when darkness hasn't yet lifted, but hope already glows along the horizon. This hum wasn't a warning or a burden, it was a quiet promise. Ahsoka sensed that the choices she had made, the paths she had walked, the hearts she had guided, the truths she had accepted, had all prepared her for what lay ahead. In the stillness of that realization, she breathed deeply, embracing the peace that came from knowing she was exactly where she needed to be. And as she stepped forward, the hum grew brighter, as though the Force itself welcomed her onward. Fact 98. Echoes of the Ones. Before, Ahsoka often felt the presence of those who had shaped her journey, not as ghosts, but as gentle impressions carried on the currents of memory. She sensed Anakin's fierce spirit softened by regret, Obi-Wan's calm wisdom lingering like warm sunlight, and Yoda's quiet encouragement folded into the breath of the living Force. Even Plo Koon, who had discovered her as a child, seemed to walk beside her in moments of deep reflection. These echoes did not weigh her down. They lifted her, reminding her that she was part of a lineage of light stretching across generations. Their lessons flowed through her like a tranquil river, guiding her with compassion rather than command. And in the soft embrace of their presence, Ahsoka felt whole, not defined by the past, but nourished by it. Fact 99. The strength to continue. Every step of Ahsoka's journey, from Padawan to wanderer, from warrior to teacher, from lost soul to luminous guide, had forged a strength both quiet and profound. It was not the strength of domination or power, but the strength to keep moving, to keep believing, and to keep loving in a galaxy shaped by conflict. She had faced betrayal, loss, and unimaginable truth, yet her heart remained open, her spirit steady. Ahsoka understood now that endurance was a form of hope, a soft flame that refused to be extinguished. Her strength lived in her compassion, in her wisdom, and in her willingness to walk into the unknown without fear. And with that strength, she prepared to take her final step toward a destiny still unfolding in the stars. Fact 100. Ahsoka's endless horizon. In the quiet stretch of starlight ahead, Ahsoka walked with the ease of someone who had finally become one with her path. She no longer sought titles or recognition, nor did she carry the weight of old wounds. Instead, she moved with gentle purpose, guided by the steady rhythm of the living Force. Her journey had shown her the fragility of hope and the resilience of the heart, the power of compassion and the necessity of courage. Wherever she traveled next, to distant galaxies, forgotten worlds, or places uncharted by any map, she carried a light shaped by every moment of her story. And that light would forever touch the lives of those she encountered. And as she stepped into the horizon, the Force whispered softly around her, reminding her that every ending is simply another beginning. And as our long journey through Ahsoka Tano's life comes to rest, may the Force bring balance to your mind and peace to your dreams. You've wandered through ancient temples, walked beneath forgotten suns, stood in the presence of destiny, and felt the quiet wisdom of one who carries the light wherever she goes. If these stories helped you drift into the stars tonight, if they offered comfort, warmth, or a moment of stillness, I hope you'll like, subscribe, and share which Star Wars era you'd love to fall asleep to next. Your presence here means more than you know. This channel is a little sanctuary among the stars, a place where lore becomes lullaby, and every tale is a soft lantern guiding you toward rest. When you're ready to keep dreaming, tap the end screen to continue your peaceful voyage and fall asleep to another quiet night beneath the twin suns. Rest well, traveler. May your dreams be gentle, your spirit steady, and your path always touched by the light. The Force will guide your dreams, always.